Commissioner Sugarmon, I heard you mention just a moment ago about car thefts in the district, and I can tell you in 2023, that was our #1 crime driver for District 12. So we had over 700 vehicle-related incidents, and to break those numbers down, there's about 409 auto thefts in unincorporated Shelby County, and 323 auto burglaries. And so we looked at those numbers, and obviously we were not pleased with those numbers. So when I became the chief deputy in July, I sat down with the command staff and tried to figure out what could we do differently at the sheriff's office to address one of our #1 crimes, which were crimes dealing with vehicles. And so we created a new unit called BRATS. It's actually a unit that was in play about 20 years ago, and we just stood it back up, and we put up a team of about 6 or 7 detectives on this team, and they focus on burglary, robberies, and auto thefts. That's all they do every single day. And the way it looked before BRATS, a deputy will come out to your home if you had your car broken into, your vehicle stolen, and they will take some preliminary information from you. They would give it to our detectives, and as best they could, they would try to investigate those crimes. But they had a number of other cases on their desk, and sometimes, cases just kind of fell through the cracks. So this unit called BRATS, what they do when we have a rash of auto thefts or auto burglaries, they come out and they spend time canvassing the area. We almost treat it like a homicide. They come out, they look for every camera that they can find within the community. They're knocking on doors, and I can tell you, in a short period of time, which they started in actually November, when they started, they hit the ground running, and we have just been amazed at the work that they've been able to do. I'll give you an example. We had a apartment complex where 22 vehicles were broken into overnight. And with less than 24 hours, they had tracked those suspects down and had them in custody. And I was just absolutely blown away. Now, I can tell you, a year ago, I don't think that would have been the case. I don't. But I think this unit has really done a great job at attacking one of our most prevalent crimes in unincorporated Shelby County. We're also looking at starting or standing up a more robust drone unit. We're seeing what drones are really helping out as a force multiplier. Now, I can tell you there are some cities in the United States that are using drones as kind of a first responder, which means you dial 911 and a drone is dispatched to the location before a deputy or a police officer arrive. So we're sitting down at the table now trying to see would that model fit or could it fit for here at the sheriff's office, particularly in unincorporated Shelby County. Now, right now we have, I think, 4 or 5 drone pilots that come out, and periodically they'll do some drone patrols just to kind of see if they can curtail any kind of crime. And we're seeing some great strides, especially most recently at Delta Fair and some of our after-school sporting activities. They've been flying over some of the parking lots, some of the school events, and they've been able to stop crimes from happening or identify individuals who are participating in criminal activity. So we're seeing a huge reduction in crime. When they see those blinking lights in the air, they're starting to kind of migrate away to some other areas. So we're sitting down at the table and we're trying our best to come up with solutions as best we can. But let me say this. I know we're mighty, but we're very small. There's only about 630, 640 deputy sheriffs. I think sometimes people think it's 2,000 or 3,000 of us, but it's only 630 of us. And just to share a few of the responsibilities that we have, we're responsible for civil process. So that means for the folks who are being sued, we got to have deputies go out and knock on your door and tell you you've been sued, or people who are being evicted from homes. We also have a fugitive unit. They go out and look for folks who are wanted. And what we're trying to do now is prioritize those warrants. So we're looking for the most violent people who are out committing crime because, are we not concerned about people passing bad checks? Yes, we are concerned. They have a warrant, we're concerned about it. But we're really concerned about folks that are shooting at people and breaking into houses and stealing cars. So we're trying to prioritize the warrants that we're actually going out and enforcing. We also have a narcotics division, and a huge chunk of our personnel is assigned to courtrooms. We got to make sure that we protect the judicial process that's downtown. So there's 630, 640 of us, and I think it's about 50 of us assigned to schools spread out throughout Memphis and Shelby County. So we have a lot of responsibilities. to address your concern about a substation, I think those are conversations that we're really going to have to kind of sit down at the table and see what that looks like. Because obviously we're going to have to kind of increase our footprint manpower-wise to see how we can accomplish that mission. But I will say this, we have what's called a mobile field force. And that, for I guess an easier term, we have a take-home vehicle program. So a lot of deputies live within the District 12 area. And so while we don't have a substation, these deputies, typically before we had this program, they would go all the way out to Arlington and have what we call a roll call. But now we're able to have what's called a virtual roll call. So meaning these deputies that live within this district, they will go to a very visible spot within their within this community, and they would log in and they would attend roll call virtually. So they were getting the same information any other deputy would, and it was set up just like a substation for the lack of better terms. And as I round through it here to home before I sit down, we have an operation that's coming up in a couple of weeks because we want to make sure that we remind those who will prey on this community that we're still out here, and we may be small, but we're large. And so we're going to be having an operation coming up in a couple of weeks where we're going to saturate the area. We're partnering with Tennessee Highway Patrol. We're reaching out to the Tennessee Department of Corrections to do some compliance checks, and we're going to be serving some warrants out here as well. So you will see a huge presence. I'm not going to tell y'all the dates tonight because I don't want y'all to all of a sudden drive the speed limit. But we're going to be out there because we want to make sure that we are visible and we're present and we're responsive to the concerns of the community.